All right. Hello, Mommas with Commas 7.0. We are live. We are popping. We are live. How's everybody doing? Thanks for tuning in. Oh, wow.
It's been a crazy heavy week, right? A heavy week.
Yeah.
A lot going on. I know a lot of people have I don't want to say anxiety, but I actually had a little bit of anxiety. Having children, being a mom, just seeing all the stuff going on out there, and it's sad. But I know a lot of people are upset, so I definitely understand. So that I know everybody experiences different in their city, but I know here in Virginia, I was surprised, like they went all in here. So it's kind of crazy. So I can understand how everybody could feel, but hopefully this can bring some joy to everyone today on this beautiful Sunday. The weather's beautiful here. How's it in Florida, guys? How's
Amazing. The sun's out. How about where you are?
It's good where I'm at. We might get some. We've been getting some rain every evening, but it was pretty hot today. So pretty good.
Right. I'm getting an alert. Jacksonville has a curfew in place for tonight. So I just got an alert on my phone. I guess I'll read that in a little bit, but I'll have to reach out to the kiddies and make sure everybody's home.
Oh, yes.
All right.
So Richmond got a curfew too now.
Yeah.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. So they got 1 hour, and then it's like, go home, go get in the house. So tonight, we're going to take into consideration the current events that's going on. At the end of the chat, we will definitely touch on some of what's going on, our personal experience, and maybe even have some healthy feedback for you guys. But for right now, we're going to reintroduce Miss Tamica and introduce Miss Rachel, two boss babes. Two mamas with commas, doing the damn thing.
Happy to be back.
Yes, we are so happy to have you back, Tamica. Let's start with you, honey. What's been going on? Tell us about what you have going on. I'm so excited about your course here.
Thank you. So yes, I decided to launch my course, which is called A Beginner's Guide to Financial Adulting. And basically, it's a course that will take you through, really educate you about personal finance, and then take you through building a budget that's right for you and that will help you stick to it. A budget has to be different for each one. Each person has to be catered to what you need and how, and the best way for you to stick to it, because if you try to use somebody else's budget, that may not work for you. It's not just about the number. It's about how you budget. If you budget by paycheck, if you budget by month, by year, if you're a contractor, you may budget differently than if you're full-time or if you have your own business, as well as I'll be going over various ways to pay down debt. There are different methods that you can use and helping who's ever in the class determine which method is right for them. And then we'll talk about building a savings fund and an emergency fund. And what do you do when you have to dip into those funds, and how do you move? How do you do that going forward and rebuild it back up? So right now I'm offering it for $49.
That is so good,
isn't it?
It's a 4 class. We're going to have an hour each week where I'm going to have a live call, question and answer session, and walking through each of the modules. As well as later today, I'm going to post a survey where I'm going to give 2 people free seats in the class. All you do is answer the survey. So I'll be putting that out and I'll share it with your viewers as well. So I'm excited.
Wonderful, guys. I mean, that is such a tool and such a gem. We're gonna put it on our link tree for you, the registration for this week. So in addition to the ways that you want to share with us so that people can get a free chance to join the course, we'll also have the regular regregistration available on our link tree and Instagram. So exciting.
It's exciting.
Yay.
And I'm going to be signing up, guys. So I will keep you guys updated on my information. I had talked to Tamica earlier. I'm looking into buying a home, and also my business is picking up. I have 2 clients. I was talking to Tamica a little bit, and I've talked to Toya about it before. I just had so much on my plate that I haven't really been able to like jump in on it, but Tamica is definitely going to help me with that, get me financially where I need to be. So, yes.
That is awesome. It's going to be great. You're going to have a whole bunch of people sign up. Hopefully you'll be like Miss Rhonda and her gun class. They're going, the ladies are, the ladies are blowing up the gun classes right now, and we get them to sign up for budgeting, and self-defense is going to be popping. We're going to be ready.
Yeah.
We're going to be ready for war for real.
Okay.
But, on the other end of town, down here with me in Florida, rocking and popping, Miss Rachel. Hi, Miss Rachel.
Hello, everyone.
About you and what you got going on?
Well, my name is Rachel. Like you said, I am the co-owner of a few things, Rich and Wise, which is on my shirt and on your screen below. My husband owns these businesses with me. We also own a company called Pierre-Louis Properties, which is pretty much just our portfolio of investing in different homes and flipping and renting out properties. And then there's Pierre-Louis Provider Services, which is where my husband serves as an independent contractor, as an advanced registered nurse practitioner, where he goes out into the community. He works in hospitals. He works at substance abuse residential placements. He also does virtual consultations, and we can get into that a little bit more in the show. I am the CMOS boss right about now. We are really big on investing in the stock market as well. And we just feel compelled as young Black people in the community to educate our peers and people in not just our peers, but anyone who wants to learn about how to invest your money, which kind of piggybacks off of Tamica's budgeting as well, because that should be a part of your budget. Investing, paying yourself first, decreasing your taxable income, all of those great things. So Rich and Wise is not just about money. It's being rich in your thoughts and wise in your decisions. So somebody had a rich thought about Mommas and Commas. And it was a wise decision to start this platform and have guests come on. So you all were rich and wise with Mommas and Commas.
I like that. We will receive it. We will receive it. And we've been so blessed with Mommas with Commas. The parent company is Ladieeray. And Ladieeray we've been working on since 2014. And the goal for Ladieeray was to have our children were heading off to college. So we wanted to create a side space away from work and home where we could continue to interact with our growing and young adult children, whether it be by way of an excursion or a trip or, connecting through social media, but just to keep them inspired and to keep connected with them. And then we decided, okay, well, from there, we should have a retreat. And, that just because we worked those full-time jobs and, life got caught up with us, the retreat, we were getting ready to have it this year, believe it or not, and then COVID showed up. So hopefully that'll be 2021. But during the pandemic and being at home, it was just the perfect time to launch a chat, a place where we could come together. And I don't even know if we knew what it was going to become per se. We started off with just laterally inviting people that we knew that were women, and then that were successful, that had businesses, that had knowledge to share. And it's an amazing thing. I mean, what we have done so far to be at chat number 7, to have you guys on, we're to the point now where Rachel, we met her, we connected through introducing her to Mommas with Commas, and she came on to join tonight. The same thing with Tamica. Shanika knew her personally, but she was like, wow, she came on and supported us. And now we're connecting with people that we don't know personally that sees the movement that we have here and what we're doing, and they're want to be a part of it. It's been amazing. So thank y'all so much. Shanika, you want to tell us about your week and what's going on, what you got going on new?
No. No, it's been, like I said, it's been a crazy week. It's been an emotional week for me as well. I I work in HR. I work in human resource. I contract with different organizations and helping them staff and with training and development as well. So I'm started to really put a stamp on my business called Desirable Consultants. I have 2 clients. One's in the medical field for hiring for travel nurses. The other one is more IT, production, administrative. And so they have a need for recruiters, HR consultants, business partners to kind of help them maintain their relationships with their clients. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. And I'm just, staffing, helping them staff pretty much. It is a lucrative business. You can make good money. You definitely have to be disciplined budget-wise. That's where Tamica comes in.
Right.
Because you have to take care of your own taxes and things of that nature. So I've been busy with that, but like Toya has said, it is a blessing. I want to tell you, I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Field of Dreams. You build it, they will come. And when I tell you, I'm a living testimony of that. Okay. We pretty much got things rolling and it's been a blessing. I could say it's definitely been a blessing. And we've been able to not only provide resources to others, but help put other people in a position to showcase their platform as well. And we're building a network that's incredible. Let me just let you know. I really think that, we've been blessed in this opportunity to be able to work together because it does take a village. It's not just me or, one individual person, but if you have a community that you can kind of work within and don't have to go outside, you don't need nothing else pretty much. And this is kind of, I feel like we're trying to show by example or lead by example, especially for our children. I mean, we're all mothers. That's where Mommas with Commas come in. We're definitely strong women and we teach our children the same thing. We want them not to say we're perfect because we do make mistakes. I know I do. But as long as you learn from them and grow from them and teach your children, I think the biggest thing for me is teaching generational wealth. That's just kind of where my focus has been. I know there's a lot of chaos going on out here and I just continue to pray, meditate, and make sure I keep the peace within so that I can have the power to challenge the outside and protect my children and show them the way. You know what I mean? Because I want them, I'm not going to be here forever and I want them to be able to sustain because this too shall pass and it could be something else later on after I'm gone that they may go through. So that's kind of what's going on with me. The weather's beautiful out here. This is the weather I like. This is why I miss Florida so much. I'm trying to get back down there.
Yes.
So, look, Tamica, like
we're gonna make it happen. It's gonna happen.
Oh.
So even if it's a second home, come on, Tamica, we're gonna go down there. We'll leave the guys. We'll go down there. We'll hang.
For sure.
So, but no. So I'm happy to be here. I'm glad that we have you young ladies here. I'm glad we were able to have everyone meet you guys because I think your platforms are awesome.
Yes, thank you. Well, let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with Rachel.
Sure.
So I understand that it definitely takes budgeting and what Tamica's profession is to get to some of the places where you are and what you're going to talk about as far as we'll just kick it off with real estate and home ownership and flipping properties. So let's start off with your home. Are you a homeowner yourself?
Yes, I actually purchased my first home. I was 20, about to be 21.
Okay.
And that happened because me and my husband both went away to college and I got pregnant young.
Okay.
That kind of put a block in our original plans, but we didn't let that stop us. But we are educated enough to know that we didn't want to be long-term renters. And we just kind of looked a little bit more into, hey, could we possibly own a home? And when we looked into it, it was possible. You know what I mean?
Right.
2 years older than me, we were able to do it. So that was back in 2005. So that was when I purchased my first home. So I have been a homeowner since then.
Okay. When you guys took that step and you decided to take on that challenge, how did you feel? Like, was it an easy process? Was it difficult? What was your biggest struggle?
To be honest, the biggest struggle was finding the property. See, a lot of people think that, owning a home is a big deal. It is.
Right.
But it is not as hard as we think it is. It is not as hard as people have tried to make it seem. And it wasn't that big of a deal. Trust me, for someone who's in college still, pregnant, all odds are against me. And I was do it. So to think that you have to have this enormous amount of money, this big down payment, yes, there are requirements, but they are attainable goals, and it's not that hard.
Okay. So your biggest challenge was finding the home.
That was the biggest challenge for me.
A lot of I don't want to say realtors, but I guess the bank, they'll tell you to start making a wish list of what what you want, like what's your dream house? What are some of the things that you have to have? What are some negotiables? Did you have that list prepared? Do you think it would be more helpful for people to have on paper, what they're looking for?
Yes, I think that is very important, but you just want to make sure you are true to yourself. We all want, yes, now I have a different home. I set a goal and I have a much bigger home from my first one, but you have to be in touch with reality. When you set those goals, really think about it. Can I really obtain this? Is this really in my budget? And so on and so forth. So yes, put what you want down on paper. Let your realtor, let your bank know what it is that you want, but make sure that it's realistic.
That's understandable. What would you say is the biggest misconception about that you hear when buying a home? Because you hear all kinds of stuff from folks, that's sometimes I feel like scares people away when really people should just really research it first before walking away based on someone's word. You know what I mean? And
that is something that I've discussed with a lot of people, and then months later they were homeowners. The down payment. There is this big misconception because of failure to do research that you have to have an enormous down payment to purchase a home. You do have to have a down payment. Yes, it is a good lump sum of money, but it's not as much as a lot of people think. So for example, a house that costs $200,000. If you check out well and you meet all the requirements, you got to put 3% down. 3% of $200,000 is what? $6,000. In the home buying process, $6,000 on a regular day, yes, that's a lot of money. But when you're preparing yourself to buy a home and you're budgeting well, that's not that far-fetched. That's not that big of a deal. So when I've had this conversation, and so has my husband with people, they're like, really, that's it? They're thinking they got to come in with 40, 50K to buy a home, their primary residence.
Right.
That's one of the biggest things that has discouraged people. And then when they do they have conversations like these, they get educated on it. Next thing you know, they're closing a deal.
That's amazing.
Let's
kind of dissect what you just said and switch it over to Tamica. And let's talk about $6,000 for an example. And let's talk about somebody that has $1,200 in their savings, and they need to get to that 6,000. What are some things that they would need to consider when they're on their road to budgeting and getting ready for this goal of $6,000?
Yep. So I definitely agree with what Rachel said earlier. When you are creating your budget, you want to pay yourself first. So you want to put money aside, take money out, and if your goal is $6,000, think about how long you want to have to save up for that $6,000, and you take that out of your budget first. Another thing that I tell some of my clients who have a hard time with saving, or if they put money aside, they're really apt to dip into it. A no-fail way to save that it's probably not popular, but it will work, is have the money come out for taxes. Revise your W-2 so that your W-4 so that more money comes out in taxes. And then when you file your taxes, when you get that lump sum back, put that away to use to pay for your down payment. Because once you give that money to Uncle Sam, you're not going to get it back until you file your taxes.
Right.
So, but if you're diligent about being able to save money, I would say you can also do the reverse. You could revise your W-4 so that less money is being taken out of your paycheck if you work a 9 to 5, and then instead of having the government have that money, you take that additional money out and you put it in a savings account, or you put it in some type of short-term market account that will give you a little bit more interest. And you could do it that way if you don't have that extra income coming in where you can automatically put that money to the side. Okay. But it's all about planning. If you don't have a plan, that money will be gone by the time you get to the next paycheck. And, 2 years from now, you'll be sitting there thinking about, you still want to save that $6,000. But if you put it down on paper and you have a plan and, get an accountability partner where you check in with that person, whether it's your spouse or your best friend or someone that you could check in with, where they can ask you, did you put away your $200, this month in your budget? And that'll keep you accountable and keep you from dipping into it when you may not necessarily need to.
Right.
Good. All right.
I was just looking at, we have some questions coming in. And so I'm going to just read a couple of them off. This one question, it says, should you get a new construction for your first home? So this question would be for Rachel's. So they want to know, should you do a new construction for your first home, or should you not? Because I know I've always heard that too. That's another thing I've heard, that new construction is like a big headache. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you want to buy a home, would you do new construction, or would you just kind of sit that one out?
I would. This kind of goes back to some of the roadblocks and so on and so forth with purchasing a home and misconceptions out there. I'm going to tell you why it's good to sometimes embark on new constructions. Now, most people feel like if it's a brand new house, they can't really afford it automatically. Oh, they have to build it, they have to buy the land, and so on and so forth. Do your research. Don't be discouraged by what people have told you, or it just looks too good. Just look into it. You can be in one community down the street and buy a house for $250,000 that 4 families has already resided in, or you'll travel down a couple more blocks and get that same brand new house for the same amount of money. The good thing about some new construction homes is those companies, they're trying to get people in. They will offer sometimes to pay your closing costs. Sometimes your land, they'll knock stuff off of you. There's a lot of perks that can come with new construction because they're trying to fill up that community. They're trying to build that subdivision. So there's some perks that they throw out there for you. So don't knock that. I would definitely look into new construction. And who doesn't want something brand new?
Right.
If you can afford it, you can get it, and no one has laid their head in that house prior to you, then go ahead and do it. But if you have to go a different route and get a secondhand home, then yeah, sure, why not? But I would look into a new construction home first.
That's good to know, because like I said, one of those misconception things there, people are like, oh, it's a headache, don't do it, blah, blah, blah. So that's good to know as well. And then the second question, this is a 2-part question from Tiffany. The second is, which I was going to ask this too, doesn't it depend on your credit? Which we know there is a credit, somewhere you need to be in order to be able to qualify to purchase a home. So I saw, now I don't know, maybe you can let us know this as well. I saw somewhere that they changed the requirements now. Now it's no longer 650. You have to have at least a 700 with like 20% down or something like that. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, where do you need to be? Like, so let's say somebody, for me, I'm getting ready to buy, where would I need to be? I know, okay, I got my 6,000. Where do I need to be credit wise?
Okay. Now, right now, given COVID-19 and things like that, there are a lot of different restrictions and things that are shifting as far as interest rates, credit score requirements, and banks are being a little bit more, hesitant to give out money. So let's just say that there. I don't have all of those exact numbers. I don't think they even have them yet, but I'll just talk about prior to COVID. Okay. So credit score, of course, it always matters. But if this is your first time purchasing a home, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about all the different first-time home owners options they have out there. If you are just going for a conventional loan, which is just like a traditional mortgage, you meet those qualifications, they like you to be in the high 600s, like 620, 640. Anything above that is great. For purchasing your home, and then your money down would be around like 3% of the purchase price. Now, if your credit score is not that high and you qualify for an FHA loan, then you'll probably have to put a little bit more down. The down payment will be a little bit higher than that $6,000 we talked about earlier, because now they're working with the lower credit score is against you, but you probably have a little bit more cash on hand because you're still trying to repair your credit, but you're diligently working and so on and so forth. So credit does matter. Conventionally, high 600s are good. FHA, they do take some 500s. You just got to put a little bit more down.
Okay. And now that's good to know, because a lot of people didn't know that. I know, their biggest thing is like, oh my God, I gotta have a 700. I mean, don't get me wrong. You need to have good credit, even when you're talking about business and, even helping your children, you want your children to be able to sustain certain things. So you want to help them and teach them good credit.
Absolutely.
What it is to have good credit and show by example what you can have, and things of that nature. So
there's a lot of different loans out there that people just need to research, and they might qualify, like VA loans and things like that. It just all boils back down to asking those questions and doing your due diligence and researching. There's nothing worse than regretting, man, I missed out on this deal or this opportunity because I simply didn't ask the question, but I actually qualified.
Right. I just want to touch on the credit piece real quick. So I think that a lot of us, we get started very early. A lot of us aren't taught what credit is. At 16, 17, you're walking into Express or Victoria's Secret, and they're ringing you out and they're like, oh, you want a credit card? And you're like, yeah. And it's so many people that's my age, younger, even older than me, that said, yeah. And they didn't even know they needed to pay that off. They get this $300 card or this $500 card, and they go and they run it up that day. They're like, oh, we go hit this store up. And, it bombs the credit from the age of, 15, 16, 17, before you even hit 18. I remember back in the day, I don't know if they still allow it yet, but parents was using children's names on bills and fucking that's
you got a light.
I'm just saying,
with the light bill.
On the light bills and stuff. I don't think that those companies allow that anymore.
No,
but
it
still happens. And then you become 18, 20, 21, and you're checking your credit, and you're like, dang, either you messed it up or somebody that messed it up, and it's so discouraging. And from then you just feel completely swamped because you don't understand what's going on. Now you're trying to get an apartment. You've been turned down about 3-4 times. You just kind of going with the flow and getting all mixed up. But one thing that I've learned, and I learned it super late, is the mentality has to change. And the mentality has to change in the sense that you're willing to sacrifice and you're willing to work hard for your goals. And I think that when people told me to work hard, it looks like forever. It looks like forever. Even trying to save up $6,000, if someone said, well, can you take on a part-time job? I would be like, no. I'm working a full-time job and I got these kids and, I can't take on a part-time job. But if someone said for 6 months, pick up a part-time job at Target, all that money goes in the bank, or start a small business, start a business on your own. This is the amount of money that you need to profit and be able to save. That's where the planning comes in, and it doesn't seem like forever.
Right.
And what I wanted to say in regards to sacrifice is, a lot of us have cable. A lot of us have all these different subscriptions. A lot of us have memberships. We have gym membership. I think myself alone, I was paying for my daughter's Adobe something for college. That was $25. I had the gym membership. That was $50. You got your cell phone, that's $50. You got a cable bill, that's $350. You can start thinking, where can I cut back? And Tamica, that's why I think, your services kicks in and you can say, hey guys, where can you sacrifice? Even if it's not going to be forever, but in order to obtain this goal, what are you willing to let go for a short period of time so that are you willing to leave the gym and go run outside and do squats, for a year? You know what I'm saying? So it could be as simple as that. So Tamica, can you talk to us about how easy do you find people willing to sacrifice in order to achieve their goals?
That is probably the biggest obstacle for people when they're budgeting and trying to achieve a goal. And I think a lot of it, I know it's with me as being a mom, it was more of me feeling guilty for my kids because I didn't want to cut their cable off or I didn't want to tell them no. But I will say that being that we're in the pandemic, I'm not having to say no. No is being said everywhere.
Right.
And I see they survive.
They can adjust.
Survive when we weren't eating out every other night, or when we weren't going shopping, or when we weren't taking them out to have fun, so they say, they were able to survive. So I tell people now is the time when you really can sit down and try to come up with a budget, because you're already making sacrifices,
Right.
whether it's voluntary or involuntary, you're already making those sacrifices. And this could be your practice time.
Yep.
You're practicing restraint. You're not able to go out and do the things that you normally do. But I agree with you. You do have to make sacrifices. And what you will realize that after, the first week or two, you don't even realize that you've made that sacrifice because you fill that void with something else.
Right.
And another thing that I think is key is that you really do need to sit down with everyone that's involved in your household and talk about what your goals are. Because if everyone has that same vision of where you want to be, then I think you'll get more buy-in on sticking to the budget. I like to put our entertainment budget or our eating out budget up so my kids can see it. And then that helps them decide, well, do you want pizza tonight or do you want to go to Chick-fil-A? Because Chick-fil-A is like a gourmet diner. We have
Right.
7 people in our family, and that could be $100 if everybody.
There you go. Yeah.
So let them make the choices versus having that mommy guilt put on me because I'm trying to, I feel like I'm trying to force them, to do something that they don't want to do. But I always tell people, when you sit down and, envision what that goal is, it becomes a little bit easier to make sacrifices. Like if you know the type of house that you want, print out a picture of what that looks like and put it up so you can see it every day. So that way, when you're sitting there and you're paying your bills or you're making those decisions, you see what your end goal is going to be. And that's motivation alone that will help you make those sacrifices a little bit easier.
That's that vision board.
Yes. And I was just going to say, thank you for that.
Okay.
You brought that right on back around, because that's what we were talking about in the beginning. On one of our chats is vision. I'm a visual person. I got to see it. Like I like to see it because I know that's what I'm working towards. That's where it's going to be. That's my goal. And it gives me motivation. And a lot of times, I look at it, I meditate, and I say a little prayer, and I say, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, because nothing is going to come against me as I'm going. Because when you're going in the right direction and you're going where you need to be, that's where all kinds of obstacles come your way. So I just try to find every positive, uplifting, motivational prayer to keep me focused on that. So that's why it's good that you say that, because I don't think people realize all that comes hand in hand in order for you to get what you want, and if you speak it into the universe, it comes back. But if you continue to put negative out there, if you continue to put doubt, all of that stuff, you're going to believe it and it's not going to form. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think people understand, well, it's hard because, you're in a different position than I'm in. But you don't know what my walk was like. You don't know what I had to go through to get where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? Right. I wasn't always in this position. So yes, but it can be done. There's people out there who don't have parents and still got it done. Was raising themselves at 13, 14, 15 years old and taking care of a brother or sister, pretty much. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to say it's excuses, but it is. You could find a way. It's a way. I'm telling you, it's a way you can do it and have accountability partner, like Tamica was saying. So, like with Tamica, with some of her services, you work with her. She can be your accountability partner and kind of help guide you, because sometimes you do need that extra push, or just call and be like, I know I do it to Toya all the time. Girl, okay, what do you think about this scenario? Because I'm bugging right now. I need somebody to kind of reevaluate and then put me back. Okay, all right. So I'm not going right.
If I know I'm going to check in with somebody, I'm less likely to go to Starbucks. So I'm less likely to go out and, get something I know, because I'm going to have to tell that person what I did and they know what my goals are. So that,
right.
that is definitely a deterrent. And one thing that something you said reminded me that, I think as Black women, we have this kind of like we have this responsibility, or we feel like we have this responsibility to shield our children from so much. And we show this strength because we don't want them to see that we're struggling. But what I learned is that I don't have to worry my kids or what's going on in my life, but for them to see me cutting out coupons, sitting down and doing my bills, talking about that, I know that I have tuition coming up. I have to figure out how to pay it. It puts empathy. It gives them, it makes them empathize with what I'm going through, but it also makes them realize that everything is not handed to them on a silver platter, and everything isn't instant gratification. Mom had to work for that. Mom had to plan. Mom had to budget. So, I was raised to always show strength, don't show weakness. But sometimes I think we have to show that to our kids so that they can realize what we have to do to plan and to reach our goals. So it's something you said that made me think about that. So definitely, show your kids how to budget, how you sit down, how you make ends meet, how you go out there and get that second job or that extra income to make things happen, so that they'll have that resilience, that when when obstacles come in their way, that they know they have to come up with plans B, C, and D to make it happen. And that it's not the end of the world if something, crumbles in that first path that they're going down.
Yes, right. And that's definitely important. That's definitely important. And I see that just with my own children. I see my oldest being more of what you said, have more empathy. Not to say that my other two don't, but I'm just saying, I think because she was the oldest, she had a little bit more responsibility. So she was always the one that worked and go to school. You know what I'm saying? She even worked 2 jobs and went to school. Like she had that, like she's very determined, and whatever she got in her mind, she's going to do. I'm doing this. I don't care what you say. But it's good to have that, so I definitely agree with you on that. I do see that. Yes, it's definitely a plus.
So I'm going to throw a question up, Tamica.
It makes me fight about asking for something when they know that, it just doesn't come out of thin air. Like mommy has to work for that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely. I think too, I just want to throw this out here, and then I'm gonna toss a question to Rachel. On the flip side of sharing with your children, I think some parents overshare, and I think that it becomes too much for the child to process if you're always complaining, or if you're always, I don't have it, I can't get it. I think along with showing them the journey, also them being able to be a witness to the successes and the failures, it speaks louder than just complaining that you can't do something for your child all the time, or yourself. I ain't got it, I'm broke. I ain't got it. It's like, okay, I mean, we don't do nothing, so when we gonna do stuff? When we gonna get it? So, and just showing them, okay, well, I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna get this, and we're gonna have this thing to celebrate, and this is what it's gonna take. So y'all just keep that in mind as well. Rachel, before we went live, we were talking about kind of like ambition and drive. Give us your feedback first tell us about where you come from personally with your ambition and drive, and I guess just be an inspiration.
My mother is my hero, number one, off top. I remember coming to Florida and my mom pretty much starting over. And she started from being a CNA in a nursing home all the way up until she's now a nurse practitioner. And I just watched her be a single mom with 3 kids, go to college, make sure that we didn't always have everything. We weren't on vacations. We weren't doing all that other stuff, but she made sure that we had a solid foundation. We were, we knew the right things to do. We were in the church and so on and so forth. And I just really was observant on how she just, nothing defeated her ever. And she always wanted the best for us. So she is just literally the only person in the world I ever wanted to be like. Mm-hmm. So to the point where my mom was getting her master's, I was finishing my bachelor's, and I was 1 semester behind her. And I sacrificed, and I took 5 classes in 1 semester so we could graduate together.
Oh my goodness.
On the same day. So she is my biggest inspiration. And I always tell people I'm addicted to ambition. So there's no time to waste. And my goal is for Sally Mae and Navient to never know the first digit in any of my children's social security numbers.
There you go.
I don't want them to ever have a student loan.
Yeah.
There you
So I want to set a good foundation for them. Now, our children are individuals.
Right. They'll make some decisions.
Set the foundation. So far, they're doing very well, but you can't predict human behavior and what path they're going to take. But as long as you know you do a good job as a parent and you set things right, then I'm okay. And I'm pretty sure you guys would feel the same way. So
we totally do.
My ambition the same way my mother was for me.
That's awesome. Do you have a picture of when you and your mom graduated together?
I absolutely do.
Send it to me. I'm going to repost that. That's so dope. I'm about to call Alana and be like, girl, wait for me, girl. I know you want to graduate in August, but let me catch you up, girl.
Actually, always.
Oh my gosh. Look at you guys.
I'll send it to you, though.
Yeah, send it to me. So that is awesome. That is perfect. Yeah. Life is so crazy. We wasn't even planning for that. And that alone is such an inspiration. On that piece, I'm gonna give a shout out. Since my sister's been blowing it up in the comments, I'm gonna give a shout out because she is graduating. She was supposed to graduate already, but due to COVID, it's been pushed out a little bit. But she's actually graduating. It'll be right alongside my daughter, but she persevered, and I'm so happy for her. She said she showed up home the other day and her cap and gown was there, and she jumped on live and she said, I don't care. Nobody is happy for me. I'm happy for myself. I said, well, that's what you're supposed to be. Yeah, that's just amazing. So shout out, Tiff. We are super proud of you and so happy for you. Congratulations. So it's never too late.
Congrats.
It is never too late. Yes. Well,
she said August 1st. So congratulations. August 1st.
It's right around the corner. Yeah. So that's wonderful. We had a question about VA loans, and Rachel, I know it came out, but we're going to elaborate a little bit more if you can.
I'm not an expert on the VA loans portion of it, but I know there are some. It's like the first time homeowners loan, they have different qualifications and benefits that they get as far as leniency with their down payments and how the percentage they have to put down and so on and so forth. I don't really have too much of the actual numbers. I've never had one personally, and a lot of the information I'm giving you is based off of personal experience.
Right.
I had someone with the VA loan purchase a house from me actually, and there were some heavy restrictions for us, not them. So as far as like how long, I'm sorry?
Like inspections, I think aren't they really harsh on inspections?
Yep. Yeah. You have their own inspectors. The house has to pass certain things. The purchase price, I believe, like once that's set, if that's what goes through, it has to stay on the market, like the value of the home, something like that. The value has to stay public. That you guys negotiated for like 6 months or something like that. Like you can't change it. It's something weird about it. But as far as retrieving and being the one receiving the benefits of a VA loan, it's awesome.
It was
harder for the seller, best for the buyer.
I was going to ask you, Tamica, didn't you have a VA loan?
Yeah, my husband was actually in the military, and we did receive a VA loan. And you don't have a down payment, but there is a funding fee that you pay as part of the closing costs. And then we were able to actually get that financed into our loan. So we basically came out of pocket with very little at the time. And it wasn't our first house when we did that. Another thing is you don't have to pay mortgage insurance on your loan. And that could be a pretty significant part of your monthly payment that you have. And as far as the value of the house, when your house gets appraised, the seller can't sell it to you for more than the appraised value. Like our sellers had to reduce the price of our house to meet. And this was back in 2003. So things have changed a little bit, but really the buyer is really protected when they're purchasing a VA loan. So it's a great program. If you have the benefits, I would absolutely tell you to use it. You can get more house for your money because you don't have that monthly mortgage insurance that you have to pay.
Okay.
All
right. So hopefully that helped out. That was a question from the comments. So hopefully that helped out there. Cool. We talked about credit score, closing costs. So one of us touched on closing costs. I think that's when we were talking about buying the new construction versus a home that had been previously lived in or owned. I guess, Tamica, how much are closing costs and what does it mean? I'm sorry, Rachel, what are closing costs and what does it mean when the buyer will pay the closing costs for you? I'm sorry.
I was gonna take it, girl. Don't worry. I was gonna say it.
Rachel was like, tag me in.
We can tag team this. Let's start with Rachel.
All right. So you said what are closing costs and what does it mean when the buyer
pays the closing costs for you? Because that's supposed to be an amazing thing, right?
Well, yes.
Saving some money.
So closing costs are pretty much it's an accumulation of fees that have to go into like the very end. You worry about that at the very end. I mean, you definitely want to worry about it because that's something you do have to factor in as far as your budget is concerned. Shout out to Mika. But it's pretty much a cluster of the fees that are associated, like as far as the title company that has to process all the paperwork, the recording fees as far as court is concerned, your deed, the real estate fee, realtor's fee that has to be paid out. Now, when you're buying a home or selling a home, make sure you discuss who's paying for the closing costs and what percentage each party is going to pay, because it does not have to fall on just one party. Now, this goes back to when I was saying earlier, you don't want to regret missing out on something because you simply didn't ask. So if you could simply say, like, okay, for the buyer, say to the seller, hey, I'm coming to buy your property. You want this sold. We're right there at the finish line. Can you take on 3% of the closing costs? Can we split it 50-50? So on and so forth. And then vice versa as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to fall directly on one party. It can definitely be split.
Okay.
That's great information. Yeah. I always back down when people are like, I got to negotiate. I'm like, okay, when is it time to negotiate? But to know that it's an opportunity or it's an option, we appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you so much. Tamica, do you have anything to add?
No, just like she said, just make sure you factor that into the money that you have to bring to the table and budget for that. So partner with someone like Rachel, who's an expert, who has an idea of what the closing costs would be, and you estimate how much you think that would be. And then if you overestimate, then hey, you have money that you can help furnish your house with. But at least you're prepared and you don't get to the table at closing and don't have the money to pay for the closing of the house.
Mm-hmm. Do they know, a realtor or the seller, do they know what the closing cost is going to look like when you begin your process with them? Or is that something that you don't really know until the end? Because that's kind of scary.
Mm-hmm. No, they give you a projection. So when you start putting things on paper, when you're starting to talk to like the title company and so on and so forth, you do get that projection when you're starting to see when you're locking in your rates, your interest rates and stuff like that. They even factor in your HOAs. If you're living in a community where you're going to have to pay HOA fees, the projections of your homeowner's insurance, all of those things, they'll talk to you pretty prematurely in the beginning stages. And they also let you know it can vary. It can be a little higher, it can be a little bit lower, but they try to get it as close to what your bottom line is going to look like. People are discouraged by closing costs as well. When it comes to, it varies from state to state how much the percentage is. I think in Florida right now, it's like just a little bit under 2% of the purchase price of the home. As far as investment properties, like right now, I just bought a couple of houses in Cleveland, Ohio, and I only had to pay 1% in closing. That's all. So it's not too bad.
Okay. So that opens up the next question about investments.
Yeah.
Okay. So looking into that, and this is going to be kind of like a two-part question because I do see that one of our guests here was asking about foreclosed homes. Okay. So when you're looking at investment properties, I think of foreclosed, right? Because you can fix them up, flip them, sell them, or keep them. So what's the process? Like, I know there's some restrictions, like if you already own a home to investment home, some places they want to know, are you going to live in this state? Some of them, because, sometimes it's hard to even get a house if that's not your first home. Like, you're going to live in that your residency, or whatever. So I guess, can you kind of just tell us like a little bit about
this?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you already have your primary residence and now you want to venture out and become an investor and get into that world. As far as the requirements, number one, if you're going to go in and you have cash and you can buy it cash, that's better for you. Okay. Because there's less requirements. There's no bank to answer to. That's between you and the buyer, and you just get a title company involved. And
Okay.
I don't know what just, hello, am I back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know how that happened. Anyhow, if you're an investor and you have cash, you do not have to have a bank involved. Of course, that's between you, the title company, and the person selling the home to you. Now, if you do need a loan, because there are loans that are given to investors, there's nothing wrong with that. The requirements are just a little bit different, a little bit more strenuous. Okay. So yes, you have to provide all that proof of employment, debt to income ratio, so on and so forth. The two main things that I tell people is the down payment is the down payment is significantly different. It is between 20 and sometimes 25% that you have to put down in order to get a loan for an investment property. And then there's something called the reserve requirement. Okay. So let's say you own one home and you're going into purchasing a second home as an investment property. When the bank is looking at you, they want to make sure that you can stomach all of this. So they're looking at your reserve requirement, which would be you having in your bank, in your back pocket, 6 months worth of each mortgage that you're going to be taking on. Okay. So 6 months worth of your primary and 6 months of what the projection is for this new mortgage that you want to take on. So it's not the requirements are very heavy because the bank doesn't want to lose. Right. Yeah, they'll lend you the money, but you got to show that you are credible. Right. And then as far as purchasing a foreclosed home, there are perks with that. My first investment property was a foreclosed home. This was after, the market crashed in 2018. There was a lot of inventory out there for it. I bought that home. I put a little bit of money into it, renovated it, and I still rent it out till this day. I've been renting that house out for the past 7 years. That was my first one. That's my baby. So purchasing a foreclosed home as your primary residence, you can really get a good deal out there. You know what I mean? You might have to fix it.
Who would you work with? Who would you consider an individual work with? So, I just bought my home. I've been in it for a year or two, and I'm like, ooh, somebody just told me about investing. I heard DJ Envy talking about it, on IG. Right. So, who do you contact? Do you just kind of go to the computer and start looking for foreclosed homes in a certain area, or who should you contact when you're ready to invest?
Rich and Wise, baby. Rich and Wise.
Yes.
So for me personally, me and my husband, we do our due diligence. And right now, Cleveland, Ohio is really going through a lot of gentrification. There's a lot of homes out there. They're trying to buy back the block out there. So that's where we've taken our talents to. We've linked up with a lot of different investors. And yes, it's as simple as getting on something like your phone. Your phone makes you a lot of money. Okay. Yeah. A lot of people are doing things on their phone and not making money. They're just paying for it and doing frivolous things. But there's a million investors out there that you can link up with. It's endless. You just have to survey it. Yes, DJ Envy's doing his thing as well. Right. But Rich and Wise, you can contact Rich and Wise. We can help.
All right. So that's a plug, but that's also very real. So if are at home and you're watching the chat, or if you came across us on YouTube and you've just recently bought a home and you're looking into taking it to leveling up and to invest, and you don't really know where to start, or you have questions, you can go and contact Rich and Wise. Rachel and her husband will be there to guide you along the way, answer questions, and help you achieve your goals.
Yeah.
So it's serious. It's that serious because a lot of us don't know even where to begin. We don't have family members that we can call on that will guide us, or friends that can, that has the answers. So, and then we're so leery and so scared to partner up and connect with people that have the knowledge that's already been there, that offer the services to help you level up and get yourself into your dreams. So we appreciate that. And we're going to continue to plug that for you to help other people achieve their goals. So
definitely too, I think, just to touch on also what Tamica said, is that you definitely, when you start out, you definitely got to have a budget and a plan. If you don't have a budget and a plan, then a lot of the things is not going to fall in place. Like, don't call Rachel up and be like, I got $100 in my savings account. I'm a lifetime renter, but I want to buy some investment property.
Right.
No, I think we need to have a conversation. Let's back it up and let's talk about what is your plan? What is it that
I would tell them, take that 100, go buy some shares in a very profitable stock, let it short, come back and see me.
That sounds good. Let's talk about stocks, but real quick, let's jump over to Tamica. And Tamica, what would you advise someone? I hate to turn it into a joke. I mean, that's me, 10 years ago or 12 years ago, thinking that, I got a paycheck, because I've always been very ambitious and goal orientated and just wanting to maybe achieve things even before it was my time or before I was financially ready. So what would you say to someone so that how would you guide them so they're not discouraged, but they're literally taking supported steps to achieve these goals?
It definitely takes encouragement. I often tell people that they need to find a mentor, just like you ladies. We have to start teaching our children young about having good credit, making smart decisions, saving early, because those are things that my parents didn't really talk to me about when I was young, and I made lots of mistakes. So really, starting out and teaching your children that, and having that accountability partner and sitting down and coming up with a plan. If you think you can just go in and do stuff, I'm sure Rachel can attest to this too, the bank is going to say no. I mean, you don't have anything to show for you making that investment, and they're not going to take a huge risk like that. So you want to be able to bring something to the table to show that you are a planner. You can budget, you do pay your bills on time. All of that factors into your credit score, which then factors to what interest rate you're going to get on your loan, how much you're going to get on the loan, if you have to take out a loan. And if you really want to pay with cash, that's going to take some planning. You're not going to be able to take that first paycheck that you get and go out and buy a house. Right. So either way, it all comes back to you sitting down with someone and having a plan, and look to the other people in your life that are where you want to be, and learn from their mistakes, learn from their journey, and sit down with them and have these conversations. I always say that other nationalities and other groups of people, they talk to each other, they share. And a lot of times I have found when I'm talking to friends, I'm like, well, where did you learn that? And they'll say, oh, my parents taught me, or this person taught me. And we really need to disseminate this information amongst our people, because it is so many resources out there, and it's so much knowledge out there. We just need to have that, and it's free. We just got to figure out where it is.
Exactly. And they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell us. And see, that's the thing. Too many of us want it to fall in our lap. It's not going to fall in your lap. You got to put that work in. I mean, yes, due diligence, consistency, determination. I think I'm a Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, you know it now. That's the record. Look, I say that's the record.
That is facts, though. Like that whole thing, I'm still listening to that. Like I'm still on Nip right now. Like I just feel like that's what we lack as a community. We lack on supporting each other. We lack on uplifting and opening the door. People think that you always have to have money in order to give back. No, you can give back time. You can give back teaching, volunteering, have a seminar. have a seminar, a platform like this, have a seminar, talk to people who are interested, bring them in, educate, there's so many different things, but it's not going to fall in your lap. I think what people need to realize, if it was that easy, we would all have it.
Right.
And there's that quote where,
yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're the average of the 5 people that you hang around.
Yep.
So hang around people that know more than you know, who are doing more than you're doing. So that way you can grow. And then if you're in a group and you're not challenged, you need to find a new circle.
Exactly.
If you want to get ahead in life. So
exactly.
Just what you're doing is the right thing to do.
Exactly.
Thank y'all so much. Since you said fall in your lap, it also made me think of entitlement. It made me think of people that don't want to work, work for it. Put in the literal work. No one owes you anything. You have to, and it's a hard pill to swallow when you think everyone or someone owes you something, and you really have to have that conversation with yourself that no one owes me anything. Right. If this is my goal and my dream, and I'm able to, stand by it and be brave and bold about it, then I need to take the necessary steps to achieve this goal. Let's talk about, all right, so we talked a lot about real estate. I think that conversation could go on and on and on. We may even find ourselves circling back around to it, but it's 8:07, so y'all know lately we've been having 2-hour chat, so let's see here. Let's jump in real quick into the stock market and investing in the stock market. That was my first career, my first job. I worked in the publishing department for First Union. And I was on the floor with a bunch of traders, and they wore their suits, and I was 18, 19 years old. They were super smart. They had to, take this big, gigantic test, and, they talked this lingo, and I didn't really understand. And I had some people even come to me and say, you should do it too, and I'm like, yeah, the Series 7 has like 14 binders, and I have a little baby, and that's when I was telling myself, I can't. But it was introduced to me very early, the stock market and how exchange works, and how people can win big and how you can lose big. I didn't start investing until literally this year, personally. So almost 10 years plus later. I found that Robinhood was an easy app to use to kind of get started. But Rachel, give us your feedback. I know that's one of your things. So yeah.
Another self-taught avenue for my husband and I pretty much learned a lot from him. We don't do like day trading or anything like that. This is more, we do utilize Edward Jones. That's like, we've been utilizing that company for like over a decade. And then as far as like something like Robinhood, we utilize something called Motive, and they just switched to Folio recently. And that's, again, an app on your phone that can help you make money. As far as the stock market is concerned and investing, the first thing I tell people is I can't predict it, so I can only just tell you what has worked for me. But if you are not clear about the fact that you can lose money, and you just think it's just an upward trajectory the whole entire time, it's not for you. You have to know when to jump in, when to cash out, when to come back and understand. You have to teach yourself all that stuff and kind of understand a little bit more. There are different companies that I prefer to invest in, and that's just at looking at it historically, understanding their numbers, looking at their 52-week high, what their quarterly reports are looking like, and just watching it daily. We like to watch Jim Cramer on Mad Money on NBC in this household. We record it. My daughter, she's a freshman in high school. She took economics, and it was a breeze for her because she's just hearing this stuff in the background.
Right.
Stock market is a great thing as far as I'm concerned. As far as what I've experienced with it, it is really one of the main things that helped me and my husband on the road towards investing in homes. Okay. Now, Yes, we both do work. We have our regular jobs, but that gave us that boost to where now we can buy properties cash and flip and so on and so forth because we use the stock market to our advantage.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let's dissect it. Let's bring it down. You know, you have somebody's like, dang, I love what she just said. I want to do that. You know, how much money should I have in savings before I call you and say, help me, I want to get into the stock market like you guys did?
For me, I like to tell people, make sure you have an emergency fund at all times. If your emergency fund is that's customized depending on that person, what your household looks like, how many mouths you have to feed. Like for me, as far as my emergency fund is concerned, I put it in my head that I have to be able to replace an AC unit in every property that I own, because that is a very heavy piece of maintenance as far as properties are concerned. So that's how I gauge it for myself. So how they have to gauge it, that's more of a conversation we would have to talk about more in depth. That's where Tamica's class comes in as well, because they can help budget and to find out what their emergency requirements should look like, their account. And then we can kind of talk about what you can do next. Have that emergency fund, pay yourself first, then dibble and dabble in the stock market. It shouldn't be the first thing that you do. You got to be set up properly first. It's like gambling, to be honest with you. That's just as real as it gets. So I think that's that's kind of a customized question as far as what that person has and who they have to feed.
Yep. So Tamica, let's jump back to you, because we asked this question before. Can you reiterate it in this conversation? What does that emergency fund look like before you? Because it's also a question. We have a question coming from the comments as well. How much should a beginner invest is the question, but how much should you have saved also before you invest?
Yeah, I definitely think that at a minimum, before you've started to invest in properties, like Rachel said, at a minimum, you should have at least $1,500 saved up in an emergency fund. And this is to make like a big purchase, like if you have to put tires on your car or an appliance breaks in your home, you don't have to use credit to go out and have that fixed, or to purchase something that you need, and you can pretty much replenish it pretty quickly. But then that's just your emergency fund. But then you also want at least 6 to 9 months worth of living expenses saved up. And primary example with what's going on right now, if you were to lose your job, or if you were to get sick and have to go to the hospital, and you may have a lot of medical bills, you don't want that to damage your income levels that are coming in each month. You want to be able to have something saved up for that. Now, if you are at that point, then absolutely, I think it's great to go out and invest in some of the big investments like Rachel was talking about. Or you can start small. Like I encourage my oldest 2 sons, who are now over 18, to put $5 every 2 weeks into an app called Stash. It's like an investment app where you put a certain amount of money in and it goes out. Depending on your risk, it'll purchase pieces of stocks of certain companies. And there's also another one called Stockpile. Rachel, I don't know if you've heard about that one too, but it's pretty much the same thing. You can purchase certain companies and certain pieces of their stock. And what I told my son, my younger son, he has an account with them, and I'm a custodian over his account. But I basically said, buy what you do. You play Xbox, you play Nintendo.
Right.
Buy into the companies that
you're a consumer.
You and your friends use, because if you're using them and your friends are using them, that company is probably going to be pretty successful. If you want to start small, I would recommend starting that way. But just like Rachel said, I wouldn't put money into it that you can't lose, because as you can see, when this pandemic first started, the stock market tanked for several weeks. And a lot of people lost their savings, their retirement. So, you don't want to be in the position where you need to pull that money out for something and it's gone.
Right. Or be like Rachel said, also to educate yourself and be involved in, because like I check my bank account like every day. Like I'm like, and my credit. So I'm thinking stock is similar, if I'm not mistaken. You need to, so that if you need to pull out, you can pull out and move accordingly. Just like if
sometimes, when the stock market crashes and when it's down, it's a field day for me.
Exactly.
Because
That's
we're at the point where we know when to pull out. And then when it's like, okay, it's down, I'll get a text from my husband. Hey, I'm about to buy this much of Apple. I'm about to buy da 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 da. You know, and sometimes I'm like, okay, slow down a little bit. But I trust his judgment as far as that's concerned. I kind of let him just lead as far as that the stock market is concerned. So yeah, it goes down, absolutely. But when you are a little bit more educated on it, you probably pulled out a lot of your money,
right? I've moved
2 days prior to, and now you're ready to jump back in and get a bang for your buck.
Right.
Example, Elon Musk, his stock dropped a few weeks ago, but now he's launched a rocket that has reusable parts. That stock is going to jump way up. So if you bought it when it was low and you wait a few weeks or so, and I'm just speculating, I'm no expert, that stock is probably going to double week or so, if not sooner than that.
Right. And I like the idea you ladies saying buy what you do, because if it's stuff that you normally buy, use, whatever, you're more inclined to know what's going on with that product because it's something that you use on a regular, so you know what's going on with it.
Yep. I'm waiting for you. Forget about it. You go and check it every day because you're hey. Okay, I just got on my Xbox. Let me go see what my Xbox money is doing over here.
I just double invested. I need to go figure out what's going on here.
Exactly.
I'm waiting for Wawa's to come on now. Come on, Wawa. Buy some stock, man. They blowing up down here in the South.
They are. They're all over the place now.
They are.
Let me jump into the questions real quick. Rachel, you had mentioned an app.
Folio.
Yeah. FOLIO.
Yeah. It's like they were formerly known as Motif. I think last week I got an email, or the week before, you know how companies kind of change a little bit. So I utilized them in addition to Edward Jones for quite a few years. But Robinhood is also a good one as well. And I think there's less fees associated with Robinhood. With Folio, when they took over, I think now it's like there's like a $19 fee, but it's like unlimited transactions, something like that. I'm still learning about the new part of it.
Okay. So that's two options, for you to go in between looking at the news, and working this week. Go check out those apps and see what you think. And then if you have additional questions, you can reach out to Rachel, Tamica, and they will definitely be able to assist you. And then what does it mean to pay yourself first? I think
I said that.
Yeah. I think I've heard Tamica say that too, I think in our last chat. So can you elaborate a little bit on what that means, Rachel?
Sure. When I say pay yourself first, I mean, literally when you're getting that, let me say where I started that. When I was working as a nurse at Orange County Corrections, at one point I opened up another account and I had 2 direct deposits going. Okay. I had a certain amount going to a savings account and then my regular checking account. That was me paying myself first.
Okay.
Also, let's say you work for the state and you have the FRS benefits or whatever state you're in, you can put money into your deferred compensation, okay, or your 401k or whatever plan you have. Pay yourself first. Decrease your taxable income. Put that money away before it goes into the bills and so on and so forth. But it has to be budgeted correctly, okay? But prior to going out and buying a new outfit and so on and so forth, invest in yourself first as far as your future, your kids. That's what I mean when I say pay yourself first. But do it in those ways where it's not like, oh, I'm just going to put $5 in my room. No, make sure it's extracted before you could even feel it. Then after a while, you get so accustomed to it, it's your norm. You are accustomed to living off of this amount of money. You don't have that because it's already put away. You've already paid yourself.
Yeah. Rachel, exactly. You definitely take it out off the top before you even start to determine what you're going to do with the rest of your money. That way you're not later on trying to pull that money back out and put it away. That's when you can accidentally spend it, or you think something else takes priority over saving for your future. And then, 2 years from now, you don't have anything saved away. So take it out first, move it to an account when you have that direct deposit, or, take it out immediately and go deposit it somewhere else.
Right.
Thank y'all so much.
We gotta have that discipline.
Yeah. All about the discipline.
Yep. Yeah, and that discipline and that sacrifice, boy, it is hard for some people.
It's fun.
But
It
you
comes
know,
with maturity almost. Like it's like.
but right now, like I think Rachel said it earlier, this is the time to do it. Because where are you going? Why you need to buy something? You're in the house. What the hell are you
I loved how Tamica was like, we try to, do all these extravagant things with our children, and right now the world has already said, y'all ain't going nowhere. So they're saying
we've been just fine at the house, haven't we?
At the house, more than the house. We on TikTok, that's free. I'll do a couple dances. Okay, that's free. But other than that, we're saving. That's what we're doing right now. We're planning and we're getting ready. I love this, and I love that you guys have made yourselves accessible. So that people, both of you, just have such a spirit and an energy about you that's approachable. And it's like I feel like I can call Rachel tomorrow and be like, girl, you know what I'm saying? Let's get. Matter of fact, I'm going to invite 20 of my friends. Let's get on the Zoom. You know what I'm saying? So exactly, let's hit a chin for that. And Tamica, we already know. I'm just so excited about your course that you have that you're rolling out. Let me just make a couple mentions about that. So it's called The Beginner's Guide to Financial Adulting, which is so cute. It's $49 for 5 courses. You start now and you go at your own pace, which is what I really like, because a lot of people are like, I ain't got time to do that. But you do have the live set up right now where you can get on and be live 1 hour per week, correct?
Yeah, we're going to have an hour session where I'll walk through whatever module is in that week, and then I'll do a live question and answer session. And also, if someone has a specific scenario that they want to talk through, we'll talk through that at that time. And then I'm also available during that time for emails, conversations, one-off conversations as well for whoever is taking the class.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna just roll through. It's so easy. It's on her Instagram. You just click on the link. It's plain English. It's the title. Enroll for $49. She talks about herself. She tells you all about who she is. And then she goes into what that course curriculum looks like. So it's how to build your budget, emergency funds and savings, knocking out your debt, and the next steps to financial freedom. And guys, if you're on and you're watching and you tuned in, we kind of bounced back and forth between the financial freedoms and what it takes to get there. So this conversation has just been a back and forth of what it takes to ultimately get to those goals. So please, if you are on the road to financial freedom and that is your goal and that is your dream, hit up Tamica and enroll in her course, because she's there for you with all the good information that will get you there. All right. So we've talked about money, investing. Let's talk about investing in wellness. We so stressed out right now. We so stressed. And I ain't been eating right. So Rachel, tell me about this sea moss product you got.
Yes. I need some of that.
Sea moss has been like all over the place. It's like this new craze or whatever. It's a superfood from the ocean, literally an algae from the ocean. It contains 92 of the 102 vitamins and minerals that we need. So pretty much what you're going to go out to the store and buy in a 1-a-day pill and hope that they manufactured it right and put all that great stuff in there for you, you can get that in your sea moss. So I'm Jamaican. I grew up on it. It's not new to me. So it's new to a lot. They're like, what is it? I'm like, sea moss. Well, let me make it for you the right way. You have to be careful with who you buy it from, because just like with the fish and salmon and all those different things, they're farming sea moss now in pools. And yes. So you have to be
all the rave. It's always one little vegetable or fruit that becomes the rave, and then they destroy it.
Exactly. So you have to be very, very careful and make sure that you're getting or utilizing wild-crafted sea moss and it's not farmed, because then you're missing the point. So I make it in the original flavor. I make it in a cinnamon flavor. And today I got creative and I made 2 new flavors. And they're cute.
It's so pretty.
Love that.
So this one is infused with dragon fruit.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of health benefits with sea moss in general. And then I have a couple of, like when I infuse these things, I also like on my social media, I talk about, I pretty much post what the benefits are for them. Like as far as like anti-inflammatory, getting rid of mucus, inflammations, the list goes on. And then this one has blueberry and ginger infused in it.
Okay.
Now, I'm very transparent with people. Sea moss is very earthy. It is not, it looks cute.
Yeah.
It looks very cute. It looks like it might be sweet. It's not about the taste, it's about the benefits. There's no sugar, there's none of that stuff in there. So you get creative with it. You could put it in a smoothie, you can put it in hot tea, your coffee. Growing up, my mom used to cook with the original one, like she would have the original flavor. It can serve as a thickening agent.
Okay.
So like things that you would put in like yogurt or whatever to thicken your smoothie, you could put a tablespoon or two of your sea moss in there. I made sea mossaritas the other day. I was making margaritas and I put, yes, child, why not?
Why not?
I made frozen margaritas and I added my sea moss in there. I was
what is it? A jelly type? Is it jelly?
It's gel, yes. I keep it in the refrigerator. I just had these right here so I could show you guys. But I blend it down in a Ninja, like really make it light and airy. And then I put it in the fridge and it forms a gel. So you can just scoop it on out.
All right. So yeah, so I'm getting some. She does ship out to you guys. You can go and research sea moss. Sea moss is amazing. It's it's a new superfood that's out right now. And it's, you know, with COVID going on and all of these different ailments, it's a natural way to kind of keep your body clean. Like you said, free of mucus, free of inflammation. It aids in digestion. So sea moss is definitely something that should be a part of your diet. And she can provide you all these cool flavors. How much would a jar like that be?
So this one is 15 because this one has the added things in there. But the original and the cinnamon it's also 15, but it's the pint. It's the pint size. They're a little bit bigger. I sell it much cheaper than a lot of people do because I don't want to hit people over the head. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally started doing this because I made an Instagram post one day of just me making my personal one, and then people started inquiring about it. So I'm like, you know what? I'll help them out. People sell jars like these for like $40, $30. I'm not doing that.
Okay, so $15, you can get you 2 of them.
I'm about to get that dragon fruit one because that dragon fruit, I thought about buying the fruit itself because they're shipping them now to people if you can't find them out. But I definitely want to try that one with the dragon fruit.
Yeah. Yes. So what we'll do is get the information from you. We'll be posting all over social media. So our viewers and our friends and family can definitely take advantage and get that sea moss from you.
Yes, and I will ship it to you.
Yay! And she's in Florida. It's not gonna take forever. It's not coming from China. It's not coming from somewhere crazy. She's shipping it right here to the States. It'll come right to you. So it's a wonderful, wonderful piece there. And while we're on wellness, you and your husband, you have another business. You're into the wellness business. So tell us about that, because that was
primarily of income over there.
Listen, I'm about to make a trip to Orlando in a little bit. I need girls.
I'm telling you, I don't want my kids to even have to utter student loan. Primarily, we're in the medical field. That was our first thing. Like I said, my husband's an independent contractor. He's a nurse practitioner, and he is all over. He's at work right now. On our website, Rich and Wise, he also does virtual consultations because now we're moving into this type of world where you can see somebody on a live stream, have a chat with them. We're kind of limited right now with COVID. A lot of people don't want to go into the hospital for certain things. And sometimes people go to the hospital, they're in the ER and they don't really need to be in the ER. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's simple things that can just, they go in, they have a conversation, then they come out with this big old bill for something minor. But people are scared to go into the hospitals right now because you might go in with one thing and come out with another if you come out at all.
Right.
So I'll share the website with you guys as well, so you can also do a virtual consultation with him. He can prescribe all that great stuff. So if you need to go to the hospital, he'll definitely direct you to do that. But there are a lot of things that you can just simply talk about virtually and have resolved.
Okay. So that's amazing. Look at her.
She's
got sea moss. She can ship to you tomorrow. If you're sick or if you have something going on with you, health-wise, her husband, she's a nurse, and then her husband is consulting virtually. If you have any questions about investing, the stock market, investing in property.
You can set your own appointments as well on our website for investment strategy consultation. And we have the calendar up there. They can just set it up and have those conversations.
Okay. I don't expect for you, I know that sometimes costs can vary, but when would a person, if they're coming to you for consulting, when would they find out along that path what the fees are, to work with you?
For the medical portion of it?
Let's talk about the investing. So
right now, it is priceless right now. We want people to learn. Right now, we just want to help people because no one is teaching our kids these things in school about financial freedom and so on and so forth. So as it stands right now, for the investment part of it, we're having quick conversations with people for free.
And now, so you hear that, everyone? I just want
make sure y'all heard that.
Rewind it back. There's no excuse for anyone to say that they don't know or they don't know who to reach out to, because we have Rachel here, Rich and Wise, okay, saying to you that it's free consultation to have a conversation on where it is that you're trying to be and where it is that you would like to go. And that's how it starts from there. So it's free to just find out how to even go about, where to go and options as far as for you. So there's really no excuse. And the fact that we're having this conversation twice for everyone. The first time, we spoke this more on credit and budgeting, but now we're incorporating that and stepping it up a little bit and showing you what you can do. And so we have two beautiful young ladies who took their time in their day to express and share resources, because they feel the same way we do, Toya and I, as far as educating our community. So the fact that we are providing these services, for you guys to kind of just learn, I think is awesome, because I know we didn't have a lot of these things, because we didn't have social media when we was growing up. We kind of had to go word for mouth. And if people didn't talk, because there's some people don't like to share information, which I think is kind of crazy. You kind of had to dig and find yourself. So now we're being able to provide a platform where people can provide their services and let you know what's going on. So there's really no excuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
free is an amazing thing. Free is not going to be all the time, and I don't think that people should expect free all the time. You definitely shouldn't expect free out of the Black community or your family members just because you know them. There is a value. So the fact that she's able to offer you those services for free during this time, I would definitely take advantage. But also know that there is a value. Now, determining what you can afford and working with consultants and making sure that you're being, that there's charging fairly, you can refer questions to Tamica, and bounce off to her based on your budget to see if this is something that you can afford or should afford. Right. Because some things we should afford. Maybe we shouldn't buy those Nikes for $120. We should pay the consultant fee to understand where the budgeting is coming from and going and this and that. And then it all makes a full circle. So right now, while it's free, but there is a value there. And just know if you do run into down the road where there is a cost, as long as you can afford it and it's not, killing your pockets, and you consulted your family, your partner, and it's something you can afford, definitely invest.
And invest in yourself. Invest in your dream, because yes, it's a blessing that the first initial step is free to get you going. But in order for it to manifest, you got to invest. You got to put something into it to see it come back. Don't be afraid, especially, of course, once you talk to Tamica and figure out where you're at, then you can figure out how you want to make your moves. But you definitely, I wouldn't hold back. I definitely figure out. Right now, I will say this. Right now, we're in an economical shift. Okay, if people are not understanding this, research it. We're in an economical shift. Things are shifting. They're changing. And if we're not up to date, and I don't want to say like up to date, but if we're not up on it and we're not prepared when that time comes, because it's coming, things are changing, as we can see, we are going to be left out there to die pretty much, because they're not coming to get us. They're not providing us with resources. So you got to really be able to be prepared. And, we have a community. Some of us have made it to the point where we want to, and we're trying to pay it forward, which I feel we need to do more of.
Yes.
Most definitely, because we can't do it by ourselves, and it's not too many of us that are paying it forward. But take advantage of this time. There's no rush to hurry up and go out. For what? What are you rushing to go out for? Especially if you broke. You ain't got. I mean, come on. This is a time for you to reevaluate your budget, your life situations, your living situations. What's going on to make it to where you are on top? And like Rachel said, she don't want her kids to even know what a loan is for school. That's another thing that puts us in debt where we can't get ahead. So I feel like now is the time. Now is the time to definitely go ahead and move forward and be able to accomplish the goals that you have. Stay focused and determined. And to me, and maybe it's just me, in my opinion, now is the time to me, I feel like, for you to focus on what you need to focus on. Even if you're not working right now is the time. Okay, what business plan can I get going here?
Right.
What can I do to create my own opportunity? There are resources out here where they're helping people during this pandemic that are investors who got money just sitting there, willing to throw it, if you got that business plan. But you have people here that will be able to help you with that and kind of get you going in that right direction. So I feel like, now is the time. Don't wait. Take that leap of faith. What you got to lose? I mean, shoot, if the world comes to an end today, at least you tried and you got it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why not? So that's just my 2 cents.
We love it. Thank you so much.
Those 2 cents was in the budget, girl.
I know.
Yes. Girl, I'm about to cash out, girl. I'm about to cash out. Y'all talking this legal. Y'all gonna be like, Toya, leave the building. Get out of here. This has been awesome. I kind of don't want to go yet. Let me just make sure we asked all of our questions.
Well, while you checking over that, let me, I guess, from either one, whoever wants to start first, what would you like everyone to kind of get from what we were discussing? Like, what would you think would be your takeaway that you would want people to realize and understand moving forward, knowing with everything going on, and people just like, what we need to stay focused on in order to move forward and achieve our goals for our families?
I would definitely say don't leave your destiny in anybody else's hands. Come up with your own plan. Like you say, you have resources here, and there are other resources out there to help you figure out a way to meet your goals. So don't leave it in an employer's hand. Don't leave it in the government's hand. Take control of your life and your finances and what you want your goals to be, and go for it. Now is the time to do it, like Shaniqua said.
Yes.
Cool. Rachel?
I would hope that people take away from this chat simply those things that people put in our heads growing up that were just too big to achieve. Buying a house, being financially free. It's not that hard. And sometimes we make it harder on ourselves by what we're taking out of our wallet and putting into somebody else's bank account. Yeah. So those things, there's the things out there, buying your home and having those things that you want, it is attainable. Do your due diligence. I will say that till I'm blue in the face. Do your research. Utilize that little device I keep throwing up. Call your phone. And do your research. A lot of the reasons why I'm successful today is because I read. I looked things up. I asked questions. My degree is not in finances. I am not a real estate a realtor yet. I'm an investor simply because I taught myself. So when you guys leave this chat today, go and learn something new.
Yep.
Learn something that is going to change your path, help you reach your goals, and set a good foundation for your children.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. That's great.
That's an awesome challenge.
Yes.
It's an awesome challenge. And you guys can let us know how that worked out for you. Okay. So the only other thing that I really wanted to touch on, I said if we had time, Rachel, you and your husband, y'all are like a power couple. Like you're known around town.
Yes, we are.
I felt the vibe over here, and I didn't even know that. But
you are referred to as a power.
How that works for you and your husband?
Well, number one, we've been together since high school. So we've been together for 18 years. So we know each other. He knows what bothers me. I know what bothers him. Does that stop us sometimes? Absolutely not. He is, I would say, first and foremost, the best business partner, the best husband, best provider. Couldn't take that from him. It can be a struggle at times, to be transparent with you all, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if I'm pretty sure you guys sometimes have things that you disagree on, things that you agree on, you come to a common ground on, so on and so forth. So working with my spouse is just the same. Okay. He is my biggest fan and I'm his, and we encourage each other. We just kind of chop it up. We sit in our office and talk about things and come up with different ideas. We're both born in September, but we're two different signs. So that kind of
is somebody a Libra?
Is somebody a Libra?
He's a Libra. I'm a Virgo.
Okay.
But it can be challenging, but it's very rewarding at the same time. It makes things easier too, being business partners as a married couple, because we are in one bank account and so on and so forth. So the backstage stuff is a little bit easier because we are viewed as one and not separate. I think it's healthy for our children to see as well. It is rare to see.
Yes.
I'm fortunate and I'm blessed, and I thank God every day for my situation to be able to work with him. But it is very healthy for my kids to see, and they adore both of us. So
that's awesome. What did you say?
That it has its ups, its downs, and its perks.
Yes. When you guys are building and you're working through the years, do you guys tend to tackle your goals at the same time, or is there a sacrifice where you're going in one direction and he's kind of holding it down, and vice versa? How does
full throttle?
Yeah,
everybody goes.
Yeah,
nobody sits out, and that works for us. It doesn't work for everybody. Now, when my husband first went to nursing school, they called him a semester early to tell him somebody got bumped and he can come in next.
Wow.
He had the choice. Mind you, my daughter was about to be born. He started his program with a 2-week-old.
Yeah.
Because for us, you can do it. There's no, okay, I'm going to take a year off and I'm going to wait. No. We can do it. We're going to balance it out. We're going to figure it out no matter what. When I took those 5 classes, I had my babies. He was in school. We're doing different things. It's what you train your mind to do, your mentality. So if you feel like, well, you're going to go first and you're going to finish your master's, and then when you're done, I'm going to no. I don't believe in that, because guess what? If anybody's going to go first, it's me.
Right.
I know that.
Right. So I'm not going first. We're going together.
Okay.
That's right.
Right. It's all about how you train your mind and the level of determination you have. When you set that end goal and you want to reach that finish line, you're going to just fight through it and make sure that you do your best to come out on top.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. I was telling Rachel before we came on the live that, I managed a large group of adults, and I've dealt with a lot of different personalities, a lot of different mindsets, people that set goals here or set limitations here when I could even see their goals and where they should be is up here. We all, if you just train your mind, if you have someone, whether it's a husband or a wife or a family member that's willing to help you, willing to offer that time or willing to offer you the knowledge, pour in and be about all that you can be, because the things that you can reach, the goals that you can achieve, you will blow your own socks off. You will you can do it. Mm-hmm. Just put your mind to it. Take advantage of the people that's willing to help. If it's absolutely nobody, fight, but most of us have one person we can call on. So, so thank you so much for sharing that. We really I appreciate, meeting someone with that drive and, the determination, and to see you go through motherhood and, a high school relationship that you're still in, and you're from Jamaica, your family's from Jamaica, but you have ties in New York and being in Florida, it's a background that many of us can relate to. And I just appreciate your time and, and being on here this evening. Really.
I'm honored, actually. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
It's definitely an inspiration. I want to say that for me, it definitely motivates me to go harder, That's why I love surrounding myself with women who are on the same, same path, same journey. We are mothers, we have children, we have older kids. What we said the last one, it was like team A and B, depending on the age group and with the kids. And so some of us have kids in college, we're dealing with the same things, we're all on the kind of going through it. So it's refreshing to be able to have women that you can discuss with, and they're not going to judge you. They're not going to, oh, this girl's crazy, or, she doesn't have it all together, or whatever, sometimes it could be discouraging, and that's why we tend to keep it all in, and that's not healthy. So
we're about discussing strategy.
Exactly.
Not you crazy. Not you. If you continue to fail upon failure, you like that, then that's your thing. But if you have made mistakes and, you're looking to make a difference and make a change in your life, you definitely got people out there for you that will support you and help you get to the next level. So we're happy to be those people. Yes. Thank you so much. We're on that 2-hour stretch, so I'm not gonna keep y'all. But gosh, have a safe week. Have a wonderful evening. We'll do a lot of posts and whatnot to continue through this week to just keep everybody in contact with you guys. What we're planning on doing, our next steps, is to create a directory of all the guests and friends that have been on the chat, that will have your contact information with just maybe 1 or 2 clicks, so people can reach out and get in touch with you super easy. Mm-hmm. So we'll be putting that together this week. Mm-hmm. So we're just trying to build a network, a successful, honest and genuine network. Okay, so we appreciate you guys.
And we're linking people that never would have met, and and then this way, like now, if you have a question, or Tamica, you guys can contact each other and say, hey, I just whatever. Just bounce ideas off of each other, So I think that's an awesome part too. That's part of what we were talking about, the directory, because this way we could keep in contact with each other and build those relationships. And we're all entrepreneurs, right? We're all entrepreneurs with 9-to-5s, and we have children, and we have husbands, and all of those things. So definitely is encouraging. And sometimes we might just need to call each other to say, you know what? I don't want to do this today. Everybody done pissed me the hell off up in this. I need to talk to somebody. You can be like, girl, calm down. It's gonna be okay.
All right.
Exactly.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
Refocus.
Okay. Yeah, let's go.
Strategy.
You ladies are awesome. I really appreciate and I love this platform and what you guys are doing and what you've created, because it's like a domino effect. Because like you said, now it's like, hey, if I have someone come to me and they're not quite ready yet, and I see that their budgeting is all off, it's not my thing. call my girl Tamica.
Exactly.
Exactly. When you get done with
That's
Tamica, come back over here.
Okay.
And then when you get that established, come on, Mommas with Commas, and tell the story about how Rachel referred you to Tamika. Tamika sent you back, and now you.
It's all about those testimonies, man. It's inspiring. We validate because it's real. Thank y'all so much. We will be in touch with y'all, and hopefully you guys will get some inquiries from us. And just have a wonderful night. Stay safe. Keep your family safe. All right. We love you guys.
Love you the same. Bye.
Bye. All right. So that was really good. We're gonna stay on for just a few more minutes just to kind of gosh, that was so good.
I know, right?
We wanted to kind of transition and talk a little bit about the current events and what's going on. So
we have some exciting things coming up. Or
I got a little list here. So if you guys follow us on social media regularly, then you probably know that our live chat, which was streaming on Facebook and YouTube, is now officially a podcast, and we are so excited. We are now available. You can hear our voices on Spotify. We are also on Breaker. So if you're on Breaker, we're on there. We're Anchor, Radio Republic, and Google Podcasts. We've also applied to be a part of the Apple Podcast family. So that should be happening soon.
To be announced.
Yes, to be announced. So it's in the works. We're just waiting for that approval. So we are officially not only a live chat, so we can get on here and look at each other one day a week, but you can listen to us too. So while you're working out or while you're driving in the car, put your Bluetooth in and hit your Spotify, and then you can go to Mommas with Commas. It's super easy and listen to the chats there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to load all of the past chats, but we were able to get 2 uploaded, and then we'll upload this one tonight. So this will be available for you guys.
Yeah.
All right. I have a couple of other things. Tamica's budget course. I just wanted to kind of reiterate that we're going to have that link available on our link tree, and we'll post it like on Facebook so that you guys can go onto her link and check out her course and see if that's something that works for you. One of our past guests, Divas in Defense, they were on. That was an amazing chat, y'all. So that was Cole and Miss Rhonda. Rhonda, she teaches how to use your gun and helps you get your weapon, your firearm. But Cole is located in Atlanta, Georgia. And he has a self-defense company that is actually nationwide, him and his brother. And right now they are registering girls that are ages 4 to 11 for their summer online self-defense class. So, if you still are trying to figure out activities for your little ones for the summer, please consider them. We will have their link available in our link tree on Instagram, and it's also been posted on our Facebook. So just go to the Journey Right Facebook, scroll through until you find it, click on it, and check out their pricing and their registration details.
And I've already looked. I'm going to sign up my 9-year-old. And the classes are really reasonable. So, it's definitely something that, an activity that you can have, your child do over the summer. They have a couple of classes, so you can sign up for multiple classes. And it's cheaper than putting your kid in camp. I'm just going to say that. So, you can't go wrong with it. You really can't.
And make mention on what you said last time about networking, teaching your child how to network on, online and meeting people all across the country, because I really liked when you said that.
Oh, yeah. So I was just saying, basically, what happens is when you have a platform like that and it's virtual, your kids get to meet kids from other areas, whether they live in Atlanta or they could live in New York or they could live in Florida, because everyone can join. Like, you don't have to be in Atlanta to actually go and attend these classes. So you will be able to see others that are in other areas. I think that's a good exposure as well.
Absolutely. Yes. Also, let's see, we have a couple of events in the link tree. I know I keep saying that, but I'm so excited to have it. It's like one spot shop. You can go there and check out everything.
Everything. Exactly.
But we have an event that we're planning with Divas in Defense for 2021. It's going to be a self-defense weekend retreat, so to speak, or weekend of self-defense. So we're going to do 2 courses. We're going to do a lunch, and then we're going to do a cocktail hour where we go and we learn self-defense techniques, all about how to stay safe. We do have, it's not a registration, but it's almost, we're just trying to gather who's interested. So if you're interested in just receiving information on that trip or that event, just plug in your information. We just need like your name, your email, your one other thing, and then how many people you plan on bringing. It's a couple of pictures that show you what we're looking to do when we get to Atlanta. Add Divas in Defense and just hit the submit button, and we'll keep you on the list and keep you updated. How cool is that? So right now we're not traveling, but we can collect information, and as soon as we have that date and the details set, we'll be in touch with you guys. So so definitely click that link, hit that link, and we have the retreat and planning. So if you are considering coming to one of the Journey Right retreats, we're either going to do the first one in Virginia or Florida, just depending upon how things kind of pan out after COVID. Just plug in your information. Just send us your name, how many people you plan on bringing. We'll get your email, and then that way we can keep you updated as details come about. And then we talked to you guys about the directory. So we'll be putting that together this week. It'll be a place where you can go and find, we'll have the chat, whatever chat they was on, the guest was on. So you can go back and listen if you're not quite sure who that person is or what they talked about. And then if you feel that they would be helpful in your journey to either learning self-defense or being a firearm owner, or what are some of the other things we talked about so much?
So we had some people. We had a midwife.
Yes.
Which I think is right now with everything going on right now is, I'm pretty sure people would be reaching with, because if you've never done it before, you don't know where to go. So that'll kind of give you kind of like, if she can't work with you and you're not in her city, she can refer you to someone, because she has her own network as well.
Right.
In her profession and what she does. We also had a wellness coach on eating and just
credit repair.
Credit repair. We also credit repair, which Kiva, we're going to update her information in the directory as well. But I see that she's doing a lot of things as well. If you go over to her page, it's growing. Her clientele is growing most definitely. So that's something that if you're looking to get in, I utilize one of the software she discussed called Smart Credit. I actually signed up. It is $20 a month. You get to view 3 credit report for the 3 different boroughs once a month. Once a month you can view it for free. That's included in the $19.99. I like it. I mean, I think she said that's more accurate than Credit Karma. It's a lot of different resources on there that you can use. But what it does is just helps me keep me on track and see where I need to be, and things of that nature. So I do like it. I mean, I know people are like, oh my God, I don't want to have to pay another fee, but that $19.99 is something that you're investing in yourself. So when you look at budgeting and when you work with Tamica on that, that's something that she's going to have work into as part of paying yourself, because that's something that's going to enhance you as far as where you're trying to go, as far as whatever goals you have set for yourself and things of that nature. So,
and it might not be forever. I mean, you don't have to have the $19 coming out of your account always, but if you do it for 3 months or 6 months, just to kind of keep on top of things, it's a tool for you. It's a helpful tool
to help keep you accountable to meet your goal, basically.
Absolutely. And then we had Kim on that talked to us about nails. She's been popping. She's back working. They've got their screens.
Yes.
She's been posting pictures of the beautiful nails. And today is Kim's birthday, so we definitely want to give her a birthday shout out. Kim, we love you.
I'm having a drink. It's ginger ale. I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna have a drink for you.
Cheers. Where's my Karen? Cheers.
Cheers. when we link up, it's gonna be a party. That.
Yes, for sure. And then we had Ashley on that talked to us about hair, and she has literally sold out those hair drops that she was talking to us about.
Mm-hmm.
She sold out of them things like within the week. I didn't even get my hair drops. Like she was sold out.
Hey.
She's booking like in June. She was like, I got one spot left in June. So we popping. Like it's real. Like these ladies are amazing, and they are willing to take the time to sit and help you get from one. I mean, whether it's your body, come on, y'all. Everything from CMOS to buy the house,
to your credit, to I don't even know what to say. But I mean, and the thing is, these women are willing to pay it forward and share the information, and they love what they do, right? And so they are like a book for the information. I mean, it's kind of like, I think my pastor was saying one time, he was like, I'm pretty much giving you stuff for you to just take. I feel like I'm holding, like, take it, that type of thing. But it's definitely good information. So and the women are, this is what they do. They love it, and they want to see their community thrive, because what's happening is in the business that they're in, they don't see too many people like us, so they want to see more, as to why they're taking the time and saying, come join us. No.
That's 100%. That's 100% true. I sat in on another IG live today, Black business owner, a woman, and she was having a call with some people that may be interested in doing what she does, and also the consumer or the customer in the field as well. And her thing is like, I work and then I do this to serve my community and to help you guys, but I also want to help you help others and help yourself. It was an amazing conversation. Live, I was just like, these are the people that I like, because this is how I am, you know, and we ain't gonna go there with being taken advantage of and all that crazy stuff. We go through things in life, for certain reasons. And, sometimes you give and you shouldn't have expectation.
Right.
And the thing about these ladies is they're full. This is what I've noticed. The energy, they seem full. We are human. We go through things. We have pitfalls. We have problems. Things happen, health problems, whatever, relationship problems, children problems, whatever. But we're full in the sense of the energy we're ready to share. Right. And it feels great when you come into contact with other people, other women that are like that. And it's so crazy, Shaniqua, that today I had on my favorite tee that I always wear, the one that says peaceful warrior. I always wear that shirt or whatever. But this girl, I ran into her at Ulta. She worked at Ulta, and she said, I was buying some mascara. So we started talking about the mascara, and then it went from mascara to the protest to us exchanging information, and her giving me all of these different IG handles that she wants me to, to get up to speed with, and then to be able to share with you guys. Right. And it's just cool, like the energy that's coming this way and the people that we're connecting with.
Most definitely. The energy is on fire. And one thing I just want to add to that as well is that all of these ladies are richly blessed. I think that people don't understand when they mean, I want to be rich. I want to be rich.
Yeah.
They're richly blessed. Okay. Yeah. And it shows. And when you feel it and you see it and it comes out, so that's one thing that I think, it comes out in their message as what draws people to them and want to feel comfortable. And because let's face it, if you don't know the person, you don't feel comfortable telling them your business, especially finances. Finances is a real tough situation for people to open up about.
It's hard sometimes to be real with yourself about it, let alone somebody else.
Exactly. So, but yes, so I just think that, people, when you take a step back and you reflect on your life, be thankful for the blessings that you do have. Humble yourself. in that situation, because I think it helps you to be able to have a clear vision. And I love that Black Lives Matter. I want that shirt, but I need a shirt like that. But I have on my black shirt.
Yes, yes. This shirt I got. It's been like 3 or 4 years. I got it in Cali at Complex, and it was rolled up. It was in a rubber band, and I kind of kept it. I don't know. Like I wanted to wear it a couple of times, but I went and found it today in a bag, still rolled up in the rubber bands. And I was like, I'm wearing this shirt today. I'm wearing it on the chat. With everything that's going on, we're still screaming, I can't breathe. You know, the country has taken this amazing stand. Not even the country, the world has taken this amazing stand. And the least I can do tonight is rep the tea. We have other things definitely in the works. But Black Lives Matter is definitely on the front lines and doing the damn thing right now. And God, this could be a whole nother conversation.
Well, I just wanted to read something that I saw.
Okay.
I just thought was real dope. You know what I mean? Everybody knows I'm a big Nas fan. So, you know, I have my little thing about Khalees because, you know, she did my man dirty. But anyway, on a different note, but she says some real dope stuff. And I wrote it down, and I just want to kind of go over it just to kind of sum up as a whole of what's going on. She said, we can't rely on a system that was not built for us to look out or protect us in our communities. We got to take control back of ourselves and our family. The only way to have power is we have to have ownership. Where there is a will, there is a way. Become more financially independent for those who know how and have the accountability to pay it forward for those who don't know how. And that, I think, was so much in that message. I think that a lot of people, it may go over their head. You know, we got to take our power and our power back. And by doing that, we need to help our communities. We need to invest in our community. Every time we get money, we want to move out and move away. And when we do that, there's not people in those communities who look like us. So what happens is we don't have people that are going to have our vision, or not even our vision, but have, empathy for us and even pave the way for us, or even have anything that's for us, and so that's what's happening here. We need to take control back. Being able to be in our communities. We need to be in law enforcement. We need to be in the government, locally as well, so that we have a voice and do things accordingly so that we are able to sustain. And that's just my opinion. People can have their opinions and think differently, but I just thought that stood out to me as a whole because we are tired. We don't want to go. We're tired. We're tired. I mean, even with my hair being braided, you know what I'm saying? There's certain organizations that won't allow you to have your hair like this. You can't even braid your hair. You have to wear it a certain way. Or people feel uncomfortable just being their natural self because, they don't want to be singled out. And I think that, I think that's wrong because every other culture can take from us and it's cool when they do it. But when we do it, it's just not cool. We got to have stipulations and rules and regulations before we do all of this and that, it's like, but I think that if we take our communities back, we help each other as far as education. I'm not saying, people say when you help each other, they're always thinking, oh, well, I got to give you money. No, educate, resources, provide the resources, and help the people in that way, and get our communities back. And I keep saying it over and over again because I'm telling you, if you do your research and you look at the past, we had our own banks, communities, housing, businesses, and every time it was taken from us. It was taken, whether they bombed it, or they tried to kill us. It was taken. So please, when you look at this, know your history so that we can continue. Because let me tell you something. Between the United States and overseas, if we could just, there's people overseas that look like us that want to do business, but we don't have our shit together to even do business. So I think we need to really look at that as a whole, you know, and this could be a whole nother subject, but I just thought that was powerful. I just wanted to put that in your ear and just manifest on that and really think about that as we're going through these trying times and we're seeing what's really going out here, because see what's happening, these people don't have the resources or were afforded the opportunity, you know, whether people in their community moved out and left them behind, not to say, you know, but, you know, you have to worry about yourself, but either they moved out and they didn't pay it forward. And so they're angry. And I'm just going to say this on the last note, but people that are out there looting and doing things, these are people who have been on lockdown since March, and they're angry over something else. It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. They're out there doing things and they're blaming it on this movement to make us look bad. And it's playing out on social media. So you cannot say that you don't see it. And if you're sitting there lying to yourself to say you don't see it, then you're the problem, because that is what's going on right now. And, you know, so there's two different, I think people getting confused. There's two different things going on here. Okay. There's people who are fed up because they want to go back to work and they're tired of being on lockdown. And so they're out there using this opportunity to act up and blame it on Black Lives Matter because they want to say we don't know how to handle things and be peaceful. No, because we're not starting it. I'm telling you, you guys got to, you know, pay attention. And we need to take our power back. That's why we have these live chats. I think this live chat was powerful as far as ownership, budgeting, and getting your credit together. Because in any other race, they work it together with their family. By the time their kids graduate college, they're debt free. They own a piece of property. They're either walking into a business or they're given money to start one because they already have the degree.
Yeah.
And I think that once we learn how to do this, and it's not even learn, once we do it and provide the opportunities, because we have the ability to do it, we're just not doing it. And it's not enough of us doing it. There are some doing it, but it's not enough of us doing it. And I just want to, I don't know if you wanted to add anything else, Toya. I know I'm just taking up too much time, but there's one lady, her name is Tamica. She's an activist. And I'm trying to find out what her movement is. I don't know if you know. I think it's
Tamica. Let's see. Yeah. But I want to say it's United
Freedom or something.
Hold on, guys. We're gonna give you.
There it is. It's called Until Freedom. Until Freedom. Go ahead and follow. I would go ahead and follow them. They are an organization. There's some outstanding leaders coming out of that group because we are lacking leadership. But I have seen some good, positive things come out of this organization. And I haven't even talked to them yet. I want to reach out to them actually, because there's some people who reached out to me that actually want to get involved. So they have resources, y'all, that if you want to get involved, because they're doing it the right way. They're planning, they're strategic, and they are educated. They know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They have a whole resource where they're protecting their people who are out there protesting. So those who are getting arrested and things of that nature, they have a fund to provide to help get these people out of jail for the cause. Now, I'm not saying go out here and blow up a building and they're going to help you. No, what I'm saying is for people who are peacefully protesting out here doing, you know, helping out for the cause, they have resources to help those who want to help out. So I would definitely, their own IG is called Until Freedom. And I think, a lot of y'all probably know this guy, my Sonny General. He's very influent out there. You know what I mean? What is her name? Her name is Tamica Mallory. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Tamica Mallory. A lot of y'all probably know she did a fantastic, powerful, gut-wrenching speech the other night, and it set the stage and put you in the mindset of the Martin Luther King and the Malcolm X. It's like the modern day, and she's a female version of it, and it's just amazing and powerful.
And we need it. We need that.
And we need it. So, just like Shanika said, pay attention. Don't take the news articles and the clippings that they're showing on the news. Just do your digging, get your research on, and make sure you are able to fuel your energy and your knowledge and your mission in the right direction during this time. I've cried this week. I have just sat on the couch. I didn't move. I stared at the news for like 2 days straight. It's been very emotional. I've been proud. I've been let down. I've been, to see those monuments in Richmond, Virginia be spray painted. I remember it wasn't even 6 months ago when I did a quick video on Facebook about the monuments and how they made you feel when you were driving down Monument Avenue in Virginia. And now the people have taken a stand, but I don't want to take too much time. We could literally sit on here.
We wanted to address it. We just wanted to
address it, and we wanted to. It was very difficult. We didn't delay our show on Friday for this. It was a scheduling kind of thing that put us in the position where we had to have the show on Sunday versus Friday. But it was almost a good thing with everything going on because we've all been affected by it. But we're just thankful that we were able to put together such a dynamic chat for you guys tonight, where you can look inward, just kind of get away from everything that's going on the outside, just for an hour or two with your family, and start doing some planning on the foundation, which is your home, so that you guys can be prepared and ready to take the next steps. So we hope that it was good. We hope that you guys enjoyed it. Next week we're going to be on Sunday too. So next week on June 7th, which is the Sunday, we're going to have. Are we ready to disclose who's going to be on that chat, or do you want to wait?
Well, we could go ahead. We are going to have a representative. We'll let him introduce themselves, but we're going to have a representative. Yes.
Y'all, you do not want to miss next Sunday, the 7th at 7. Okay, just got the 7th at 7. The 7th at 7. Next week's going to be amazing. It's going to be so much fun. And then Father's Day weekend, we're going to go back to Friday, and we're going to have just the most powerful conversation. It's going to be all men. So, we're Mommas with Commas, but we're going to have our men on Friday to celebrate Father's Day and have some powerful conversations around the man and the dad.
Well, I think it's important that we support our good men, and even the ones that need help. We need everybody. But it's good that we have the platforms like this to kind of just encourage, because I know it's been tough for all of us, but I know it's really been hard for them as well. It's just been an all around tough situation. So I think it'll be a good platform to kind of have some laughs, have some.
We're definitely gonna have some laughs on the Friday show. So y'all that one. So the next 2 weeks is gonna be popping. I hope to see you guys in the chats, and you guys have a safe week. We're here rooting for everybody. We're praying for everybody. And we are definitely considering ourselves on the front line towards change. So thank y'all so much for joining us this evening. And listen back to the podcast later on. You may have missed something amazing. And, connect with us on social. We're on Instagram at Ladieeray. We're on Facebook at Ladieeray. And YouTube at Mommas with Commas. So y'all have a good week. We love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.